So today is in a different venue at the Town Hall meeting of the Board of Trustees of the library. And I want to welcome the public and thank you for being here. It is being recorded by Groveland TV. Can I have a motion to open the meeting at whatever time?
7:10. Make a motion to open the meeting, 7:10?
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so thanks for making the copies for us, Lori. And under correspondence, we have several items. I forwarded on an email from Denise how do we say her name? Dombrowski? Yeah, about the open meeting law, and if anybody,
When did you do that?
May 21st. Oh, no, sorry, May 13th. This is a copy of it. So she,
No, that's.
No.
Oh,
Doesn't say.
You got, oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's the same thing, but I just wanted to make note that I forwarded it that day. And another thing that Denise has mentioned that she is going to do, as she has always done at Swampscott, is have town council come in and talk to all boards or anybody from any board that wants to come on open meeting law. And also, she said very specifically on the minutes, because minutes, rules and regs are specific. So she tries to do that once a year, catching all new people. So when I know about that date, she was thinking September, because too many people are on vacation in the summer. I was voting for earlier because based on, the new election and being May, sometime during the summer might be more. So anyway, I threw that out. So we'll see when it ends up happening. So that's that one. The other is we got the state aid, here Barbara, the second deposit of the state aid, $3,333.02. Let me give that to Lori. Just a copy, and you want to see it? Sorry, Carla. You're busy. Anyway, so that's our second payment, so that's very helpful. That's the only thing I have under correspondence. Does anybody else have correspondence?
I have a question about what's happening with the snow policy with the selectmen. Have we
Okay.
heard back from them?
I just sent it out,
Okay.
so that's gone out and the walkway has gone out.
And the what?
Walkway.
Walkway.
So
So,
we'll switch that to.
Like the flooding on the walkway. And while we're talking,
Actually, June,
anything else under
because
correspondence?
this is May.
Oh, it would be in June.
Right, this is technically our main
Main
meeting,
meeting.
so we'll have another one at the end of this month.
So I know.
Right.
Can I ask you a question about the open meeting laws that she's sending around? Does she also include about emails and how that
We can't
pertains to open meeting laws?
do anything else.
You can't do any.
We can send emails to each other, but there can't be any correspondence,
Well, it can't be
or
any
any discussion of the emails.
You can send informational, but it does not cover that, but we can add that to the education session.
We don't have any
There's no
conversation.
emails, we can't have any conversation.
Right, we can send each
She sent
other.
the correspondence
Zoom.
from Denise,
Right.
You sent your thing, I mean, we have not, it's like, this is to read beforehand, so
Right.
we're not
No,
spending
that was
time.
very,
Inform- Informational.
That's
Right.
all.
Save comment for here.
So the next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes for our last meeting, April 23rd. Anybody have any changes or suggestions of different? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
I'll
of
second
April
it.
23rd.
And you seconded, and all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. So under director's report, I did not ask, I asked Diana that she didn't have to do a director's report, and the only thing that, one of the things that came up was the New England Aquarium Pass needs to be renewed. It's a $600 museum pass. We've paid for that from state aid before. Did anybody get the circulation statistics?
It's,
Should be right here.
Thank
it's
you.
right there.
Miss Jen.
There was
you're so
88
good.
people who had used that.
Yes, and
And I
that's
know it was used this Saturday.
year to,
It's by
yeah.
law.
But it can't be used in July and August.
July and
We're
August.
Yeah.
Renewing it for 1 month, or 3 weeks, or
Right,
whatever.
No,
but then
no.
it starts again in September.
So it's
Yeah.
done in
Yeah.
June, the end of June.
Right,
Right.
so we
So
could,
we're
we could
renewing
wait to
now
pay
in
for it,
September.
Do it and pay for it in August.
but God knows what kind of delay that would cause.
It takes to, yeah,
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
that might be,
You're right, you're right.
Yeah, the reasoning,
yeah.
that kind of stuff over the summer administrative paperwork. So what's the statistics, 88?
88, and that's year to,
And how does that compare to the
September
other
too.
that's
museums?
actually the highest,
Okay, good to know.
followed by the Museum of Science, followed by the PBD Essex Museum, followed by Zoo New England, the Mass State Parks, Children's Museum of New Hampshire, and then the USS Constitution.
Right, on that
And-
basis.
And I was just gonna say the pass costs, what did it say?
$704.
Pass,
Oh, 400.
what does it say,
It says prorated.
prorated, that's a weird number then, 700. But its cost per use is $8.
Right,
Right, I was just trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the people still have to pay when they go.
Something.
It's
It's a
not free.
discount,
Right, it's a
yeah.
discount, yeah.
they've all moved to a discount.
Right,
Right.
because I know
So-
Megan and Adam went with Stanley, he went free, but they're gonna pay on Saturday.
Could you explain that a little bit more?
The New England Aquarium, so the library, has in the past, the Friends of the Library has paid for museum passes, that the residents of Groveland and library card holders can take out and have a reduced rate at the museum
Looks like there's
or
enough copies
aquarium.
for
And they can just check it out just like a book, and it's nothing that you have to return within a timely thing, because it's a paper copy, you just get to keep it and not have to return anything. What else do I need to say about it? We have about 9 different museums,
7, 8, 8.
8 different museums, and,
New Hampshire.
and when the trustees, when the Friends stopped, the trustees took over that because we really feel that it's an important
And the Friends ran out of
resource to
money.
have.
And I think it's great that 2 of the 8 don't cost us anything. The state parks and the Constitution do not cost the library anything.
Oh, I did know the state parks too.
Great.
I was just wondering, I know I've used the Museum of Science Pass before, and it's like a big book. And are there certain ones for each week, each day, so if
There
you don't
are.
use it, it doesn't get used?
Each museum has a different policy. The ones for the Museum of Science are strictly dated. The ones for, I believe the aquarium are not dated. They
Okay.
just tear out.
Peabody Essex is dated.
PBD Essex is dated, and it's a specific card that has to be returned. The state parks, you get the plaque that the,
Hangs in
Put
your-
your card
yeah.
down.
that
Oh,
one,
really?
it checks out and it's returned. It's a great
It's a great one, yeah.
The Children's Museum of New Hampshire, is again another tear out, does not need to be returned to the library. I can't remember offhand if that one's specifically dated or not. And the Children's Museum of Boston, I think, is the same way.
My question was kind of, because I think it's great, but how many don't get used? Are there quite a few that don't get used that we're kind of paying for, that library's paying for?
We don't, we've not done the statistics on what's not used, we're more
Yeah.
concerned with what is used,
Yeah,
and that we're getting our money's worth.
And if you do check it out and you know you're not gonna go,
Right.
then you can bring it back if you've taken it early enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then it becomes available in the system again.
But it's definitely
Because it
something
is
we
on the
look at.
checkout system.
yeah, it's all right,
Okay,
thank you.
and, so anyway, can I have a motion to, pay for the renewal of the New England Aquarium from state aid funds?
I'll make a motion.
Huh?
To have the renewal of the New England Aquarium Pass using state aid funds.
A second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the other, thing under, the director's report was, carpet. So, didn't the carpet, actually, on the day that I asked Kathy to follow up, I said, they called Diana. So wouldn't you know, because we hadn't heard from them. And, you wanna fill us in?
Well, basically, they said it was moisture in the cement that was coming up. Now, I remember when we had that carpeting put down, that was one of our questions. Was
2010.
Will, yeah, 2010 was will the cement make a difference on how it stays down? And the answer was no. But it's in pretty rough shape. I talked to the owner, and she said that it could have to do with all the earth moving, that more water has, underground water has
Yeah,
come.
pines are
But
moving.
basically, they don't have any response. I mean, it's not under warranty now. It's our problem. She suggested the building inspector look at around and where the puddling takes place in the front. She was told it was the worst ever this year. It wasn't. We've had it so it has come into the library, into the foyer. That didn't happen this year because Bobby had his truck push it back further to get
Yeah.
a little more space.
Yeah.
But
So
basically,
we've always had the water issue. We don't
always had
really
the
think
up-
of
the
that
upfront
much
water,
worse.
always, every-
Because
even
of
when they redid the
pines
brick.
moving. But, and it's not under warranty. I think I was thinking about it from the solution way of, is there a way to have, commercial large carpets with the rubber on the edge, so there's, no smooth, no lip. One large one in front of the circulation desk, a runner between circulation and children's, and then, I don't know, I actually don't think right in that front entrance where the two book shelves are is bad, but if it was another one there. It seems to be odd places that it's bad, those are and to the children's is the worst.
The most traffic areas.
Yeah,
but even some places,
but but like over by the Flag Sword, over by Biographies, is got a couple places.
Who goes over
Yeah,
there? No
nobody.
offense, but
So-
nobody goes over there.
no, but I mean, it's not
And
a
the-
high traffic.
And the one tile right in front of circulation where most people stand, where you can see from your boots wet puddle, is not the worst.
It's not lifting.
Yeah, it's
right.
not lifting. So I do think we need to do something for for safety reasons, and I'd like to, were you able to,
No, to look into rent and
I
then they
know-
come and lay them down.
I know that River Pines, they have,
I had them at my center,
Oh,
and
the
we had a
re-
lot of tripping
Yeah,
accidents, a lot of tripping accidents.
because they
And
fold up
then
on
we,
the corners.
and then we nailed it down in the corners, and they still tripped. And I'm
Laurel,
like,
And
did you rent them? Is that how
no,
they,
we bought,
you bought them?
we
Yeah.
bought,
But-
actually,
But
We're
they're
looking
the
at a
person
company
that,
that comes in and,
Once a month they change them, yeah.
it
but
changes, it's
we
still.
looked into that at River Pines, it's prohibitively expensive.
Is
Yeah.
it worth having carpet people come down and just re-cement the ones
They've
that
done
are?
it, it's lifted, they've replaced them, because we had bought extra at the time.
Extra tiles, right.
Yeah, and we
And when
still
did
have
they
some
do
extra,
that?
there's about 8 extra, what?
When did they replace them?
A couple months ago, a month ago. And those are,
That's
Pearl.
what happened again.
Maybe they need
So-
to replace the carpets altogether. and
Is it
use
just
basement
cement
tiles instead of-
underneath?
only cement,
Tiles
it's
with
a
Or a
Oh.
wall.
Oh, did you hear what Carlos said?
Yeah.
Carlos said, what about linoleum?
Or just basement tiles.
I don't know what that is.
They're the same setup, regular tiles, but they have a breathing room underneath them.
I think the
So,
concern with that was noise, but I don't think noise
But
is
is it
half as
carpet?
important as falling.
It's, you can have carpet, you can have carpet or wood, but it has a separator so that the cement, so the cement will
What's
breathe.
meant for moist
Okay.
basements that
We
have
could,
water.
we could have that looked into.
Let's look into that, and let's look into a wall-to-wall, something that isn't pieces that are.
Well, I
We
think
have
that's
all
why,
the walls.
that's why we went with the tile
Because-
So
originally.
we could replace them.
Right, but if we're
Yes.
finding that replacing the pieces aren't working and we're replacing the
Right.
whole thing every 2 years, we may just wanna look back at
I'm
a
not-
single piece that's.
Maybe we could have a single piece in
With
that
rubber.
section.
The problem
Or
we
in
had
that s-
before, when it was one sheet, was it was gold, and it was filthy
Well,
and
we
worn, and
choose
you
a
couldn't.
better color that's
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Well, and I was thinking, money-wise, is maybe we can get sections with, whatever that thing is, between two different sections, so that you're only replacing that section versus things under the stacks
We
don't
also
need
don't
to
want
be
it to look
odd.
like a
Right.
clown car,
Right.
with bits and pieces of color here and there. I mean, we need
That's
this to
how we
look.
could afford, that's the only way we could afford to do it years ago, was get one piece done and then get another piece done.
But I think if we look at it now,
Yeah,
let's,
I do too.
let's take a,
I do think time to look at solutions, so we have two different solutions that, and maybe we can rent something in the meantime while we get all that data and, because somebody has to meet the person and since there's not an interim, da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, so we need a short-term solution and a long-term solution.
Question,
Yes.
it's worse in the winter, correct?
Well, once it's
it's
curled,
ter-
it seems to stay curled.
Yeah, once it's
Because
gone.
I was gonna say, if we have till winter.
No, it needs to be done now because, I mean, even Jen standing there the other night caught your foot. We were just standing there.
yeah, we were,
Okay, no, I was just thinking if we,
but
Yeah.
okay, no, just.
So, Carlos, since you know what you're talking about for those, you wanna pursue the basement option? Because I know what you're talking about. You, like my brother, you have a little air and then a little thing.
Right.
And then a tile. And cost, and I would do 3 versions of cost, I mean, they could match it, I mean, they do all sorts of options. For that section, the children's door to the end, to maybe the beginning of the end of the director's door.
With the stacks of computer at that wall. with
Well,
the-
before, like at the end of the director's door, because there's really not, I don't see much except that one other
One
tile.
section, right?
Mhm.
Well, maybe
It's
in
only
front
4
of
years
the-
old, you don't wanna replace the whole thing, if you
No.
don't have to, that's gonna be really
I
expensive.
mean, if we
No,
can
I
get
know, that's
something
why-
that
that's
matches.
why- yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Matches
look
or
odd.
board
Blinds.
or
And,
something.
Right.
and that
What
green
blends
has
it?
many
Or
colors.
something.
Right.
Yeah,
We
and
had 3 carpet dealers in town, Elm Park,
Yeah, so
Hastings,
Elm Park
and
was who did ours.
down with-
Hastings had done the one before, and, so Kathy, can you look into, since River
I'm so
Pines.
sorry I opened my mouth, what?
River Pines, the runners, and the,
We don't rent them though.
No, I know.
We buy them, okay.
so,
But who's gonna clean them? They're
Yeah.
disgusting, dirty things that
Especially
need
if
to be
it's just
taken out
temporary.
and, yeah,
You can back
well,
it.
find out how it would be for a couple months. So get rental for
right.
temporary.
Roughy ones.
For a small
And they
one,
won't get
you pay
discussed, I
close
mean,
to
you can vacuum
$100.
them. The woman
Yeah.
who vacuums, so she can vacuum them. It's not,
It's
Take them
when,
out and beat
it's
them with a
when the
broom.
rubber, like, edging starts to
Changes.
pull
Yeah.
away.
and that doesn't happen in the
That's
first
when-
couple of
and
months.
then-
Yeah.
No, no.
And we don't really wanna roll them up and save them for another time. But they might also come out every winter and save the carpet in the
Right.
foyer.
Walk on this one.
So
people
can you get the 2
walk on that.
prices, 3 different runners, 3 different
Options.
sections?
Yeah.
2 different options, rental and purchase. And I'll talk to you about,
Okay.
or we can measure.
All right,
So
I think
and
best
rather
we
than
measure.
ballpark,
It's hard to,
park.
yeah.
And who was the one who had the, Miss Jen? No, you're already doing enough.
When you
Yeah.
call the carpet place, ask them about a full sheet for the entire building.
No,
A
he's
full
doing
sheet
the
of what?
he's doing the
He's
cement
gonna
one,
do
so
that.
when you do the carpet, yeah, so do 2, Carlos, thanks.
Well,
So a single,
Sheet in the basement tile set option and just a new
wall to wall.
wall to wall with a, did we have a backing or an
Wall to
attached
wall
back?
commercial carpet, they had an attached back.
Attached back. So the last one we had, I didn't think it had any problem with the, that buckling, that,
It was just
other
dirty.
just incredibly
It
dirty.
was
wouldn't get
starting to
clean.
ripple too.
Yeah, and
It
that-
was starting to
But
ripple.
how old was that?
Right.
It was old.
And
I think
mostly in the
original
high,
to the building.
original to the building, it's
So if it
1970.
lasted, that many years.
Right, so if that's lasted 30 years and this one's only lasted 2, we've got
Yeah,
Four.
we've got it,
Four.
yeah, thank you.
We
Good
certainly
numbers.
don't.
Suggestion, there's also, there's statewide contracting, that you can go straight to, those companies on the statewide contract, that you get the exact same price that it's a statewide, it's built, so you don't have to do your bidding. It's now Compass, I think, versus Compass.
And, excellent. So next, anything else under director's report?
Well, did you do the summer reading program?
Summer
Is that
reading,
on the
yes,
summer?
let's do the summer, thank you, Lorraine.
And I had asked Julie too, because she was questioning what she had for money and how that would be done and all. And so I asked her to put together something in the line of what's been done in the past. And she was excited about that, and she did. And I told her it could be, we could change it or ask to have.
Right, so you
And
said
she
go
did
high,
say-
pie in the sky.
I
She-
didn't say pie in the sky.
Okay,
I
good.
said put together a program you can
And she
handle.
did say under week 5, that wrap-up party,
Yeah.
she said she believed that creature teachers has already been procured.
Well, we need to
Or
discuss
okay.
that,
Okay.
because we
Yeah.
need to not go to an outside vendor
Exactly.
for this type of program, because we are excluding, the ones that are in our own town. And
I
Oh,
spent
okay.
a whole long time apologizing.
that needs to be,
Okay, she just said that she thought that was already okayed somehow, and I said, I don't know, just bring
Yeah.
the paper.
Oh, you know what? That's a good question.
Mm.
Because did the previous children's librarian,
Susie.
She didn't produce, she
We
didn't
did
produce
vote
a
on
summer
did we
project.
vote on something already on that
I don't believe we did.
unless it was included in her
previous program?
year-round
Yeah,
program,
Yeah.
it might have been, but I don't think she would have booked something and not.
this far.
put
I don't think
Yeah.
she worked
Program.
on summer.
Yeah.
I don't think she
No,
had done
no,
anything
no,
for
no.
summer.
All right,
No,
so good to
We
know.
have a local.
so,
And I'll
yes.
tell you why that came up, if I can have just a minute. I had called some local companies because people were saying they wanted to sponsor. They didn't want to give a silent auction item, but they would be glad to sponsor. And that was brought up by someone who sponsors us every year. So I asked,
For the book
and,
sale.
and they were very, 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 she was very upfront, the owner. She said, she mentioned a lot of things that should never have taken place, but I apologized greatly because she had done programs for free and at a greatly reduced cost. And she offered.
Hoping to maintain the business.
Right. Yes.
And she had offered to pursue a grant that would pay her for a few more programs, and it was turned down, unbeknownst to the trustees. And so I spent a whole lot of time apologizing, and then wrote a letter on behalf of the trustees saying how very sorry we were that anything like that had taken place. We were not aware of it. So that's why this is exactly the same.
Can you
like
send,
this.
make sure Lori has a copy of the letter for documents?
I will.
Thank you. And
So that's the only thing that stands out, is this very last, that,
thanks for doing that.
right, that's just looking at children. The second page is the young adults program, the teen programs.
Mhm.
So I just want to remind us that, myself in particular, is that, especially since we don't need to mention names, so let's try to just use people's titles. Because sometimes I'm always trying to look for that word and.
Well, that's what I thought, you know, what's her name? It's like,
So I appreciate help.
Okay, gotcha.
And there was another thing I was gonna say about, so this is the interim children's librarian from Bibliotemp. So, and the national ALA's program for summer reading is with Fizz Bang Boom. So this is under that realm.
We're gonna do that this year, go along with the national.
Yeah.
I think it's
Because last year
easier,
Susie didn't.
right,
Yeah.
and I think this is easier, because if they go to any other, the kids go to any other library, they're
That's right.
they're participating in similar or like programs that they
And
can.
there's so much information
Right.
available through the
Yeah, so she was able to do it quickly,
Yeah.
and she brought it
That's
actually
perfect.
into her interview too. So, let's see, how much money do we have? Anybody
The
with
total is 855 that she is putting forward. The
But had money
program's-
already been allocated?
The program starts June 23rd technically, but it goes through the summer. So I mean,
Well, it
if-
goes
if
through
we
the
are-
beginning of August.
if
right?
we are putting this through budget-wise, only the first 2 weeks technically need to come out of this fiscal year.
Well, I don't want mean to interrupt you, Jim, but everything for the book sale and everything associated with it, that was raised for programming. Strictly for programming.
Mhm.
Will go into the donation account, but was raised and promoted strictly for programming.
Yeah.
Because I knew she was gonna do a fabulous job, and,
Yeah.
and Diana does such a wonderful job with programming. And it wasn't my decision, it was the person who ran the book sale.
And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, if we were
So then
concerned
there's
about
a-
which budget line, then
Yeah.
we don't have to be.
We don't have to be concerned, and I don't think there's anything left in the programming budget line. I could be wrong, but
I
I
think
we
it's
had
down to
depleted
zero.
it. Well, there's
Do
only
we-
$850 in it to begin with. but we should make sure, if there's anything left in it, we'll lose it, if we don't use it.
Let's,
Well, we can have that provision in the motion,
Well, let's-
with,
Lori has the, second.
well, we don't have the most current.
No, this was the one
No.
from the last.
Yeah.
Program zero.
Yeah,
It was $827.10, don't ask me why it was that, but that's what
Some
was in the
percentage.
budget, and 100% of it has been used. So
Okay.
there's nothing left in programming.
right, that's what I thought. So we can have,
Do you want me to tell you what was put in for programming? If that helps
so
with
do you wanna
the
go
decision?
to the book sale update?
Well, I don't wanna confuse the agenda,
Okay.
but if
So-
it helps, make a decision on that.
I don't think what's the budget on the latest budget report for donation account? What's the amount?
We don't have the
we
latest.
don't have that.
No, from the last one that we were just looking at.
That's a month.
Some of that money had gone into that already. My first batch of checks had gone in.
Did you take that paper?
No. Nope. The first batch, I
Here it
thought
is,
this
here it
was
is,
right
here it is.
here. Second one did not
It's
date.
the, it's not being able to hear, so I do this, so then I block, but I
I'm
block
sorry,
what
Beth,
was
I should
behind.
speak louder. I have such a soft, sweet voice.
Don't forget you're on camera there, good Barbara.
I don't see.
Donation account as of the date of this statement.
Do you
It
have
wasn't
an
there.
amount?
I didn't bring last, because I figured that budget was
Well,
useless.
It doesn't really matter, it's not gonna, $800 is not gonna,
No.
affect, the
We
VAT.
made more than that.
Yes, we
As
did.
book sale.
Yes.
So,
I'm
What-
sure.
so can I have a motion to fund the children's programming for the summer program and young adult, children and young adult to the tune of $855, pending, the change in, creature teachers, to the town vendor.
I make-
That should go lower then, right?
it
Well,
should.
then have to
Depending
pay
on what they
something.
charge
Right.
us.
So let's propose,
Up
let's
to,
make a motion up to $855.
okay, I'm
And I
gonna
make
say,
that
I'm gonna
motion.
recommend saying a motion up to $900 just in case.
That's fine, I make
Um,
that motion.
Okay,
I
Thank you.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Okay, Barbara, treasurer report.
I have the citizens report, that's through, April 30th. And, what do we need to-
41 cents?
42.
Oh,
Well,
44
we made
cents.
41 last month, Barbara. We're moving up.
Well,
And I paid,
initial.
for the shelving that went into the
Young
teen
adult,
area, young
yeah.
adult area. That's all been paid. I was able to hit 5
Good,
Ah,
Good.
nice.
funds
Great.
good.
because so many of the others are restricted to just
Right.
books.
Yeah, but
Great.
it's
That's
about,
excellent.
was like 36, 33,
33,
Keep it
33,000.
active and how much we
33,
appreciate it.
35,
3,500.
30,
33,335.
oh my goodness, almost the amount that we got
Almost
from
the
state aid.
yeah. it was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that we took it out of trust funds.
It's
Great.
great,
Yeah.
but, and 5 trust funds, so that's fabulous.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Great.
They are fabulous shells.
Oh,
If
they're
anybody,
wonderful.
Yeah, I
everybody's
looked at
seen them?
Wonderful.
They
I haven't
move-
tried to move them, but
they
Diana
move-
They
said
have locks on them, don't they?
Diana said they move easily.
They move very easily,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I thought
I,
they had
I
locks
assume
on
they
them.
have locks on, anything with
Put
wheels
a lock
usually
in it,
does.
then they move really easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
That's all I
Good.
know.
Oh, I apologize. Under the director's report, I wanted to report that I actually had all the locks changed in the main 3 doors of the library. Because we have had reports that there are people, not trustees, not staff, in the basement. So I had them all changed. So,
But when we just did that,
We only changed one lock.
Yeah.
but the lock, the door to the basement, the key was kept in the library.
People were given access to the key.
Yeah.
so they're all, so we now have new door key for the front door, the back door, and they are the same key. They're keyed the same. The top basement door is new, and the bottom basement door is not new, but because
Yeah.
it was gonna be a huge job because the door is so old.
I don't think that's ever been locked.
It's locked.
Is it locked?
It's
Yes,
locked,
it's
and we
locked.
still have the key.
Okay,
And I did not change the shed key.
no.
If anyone wants to
Used,
get
bu-
the
used
shed,
books.
they're
Go
welcome
ahead,
to.
take it.
So, and
Leave
here's,
money.
here's where, sets of keys live. At the police station, and I gave them a current list of trustees and a current list of staff that will be updated, as needed. Denise is gonna have a set of keys, because Greg had a set of keys, and they let in the electricians and the plumbers and the service people when the library's not there. The director will have a set of keys. What happens when the police only have one set of keys is that the cleaners come, and then you can't get in the library if the library's not open. So,
That
Making
happened
them
to
a
us,
second
that
set.
happened to us.
Right. We're
2
making-
weeks
Wait,
ago.
wait,
So they took the key.
Well,
They
that's
took
like
the
they
key,
did
but then they
for
went to clean someplace
building.
else,
Health
so we
Road,
couldn't
the
get
fire
into the building.
station, and so there's no emergency.
so we're gonna put a second set of keys
At the police
at the
station.
police station.
Yeah.
Denise has said she's going to put eventually, a motion to have, fire
Lock
lock boxes, so the fires, cause now if you have a fire in the library, they have to get the keys from the police
Like
station.
those realtor boxes.
Yeah,
I have one in my house. I
Yeah.
have the lockbox in my house with
So,
keys.
right now, we also have an extra set, for that. For, you know, cause rather than paying every time. And at the moment, we don't have any trustees that have a set of keys. And my theory is the second set at the police station takes care of that.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you show your ID and they take a copy of it, you make sure I'm on file. So anyway, just to let you know, we will have that bill to pay. Okay,
Back to the treasurer's report.
back to,
That's it? No
Okay.
more money?
No, that's another.
all right.
Did you want us to sign it?
You can sign it if you'd like.
You don't wanna do the
44 cents.
initials of 44 cents?
I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I don't know what's next.
Fabulous.
Book sale update, Kathy?
Okay, we had an absolutely wonderful turnout. Lisa did her usual great job of organizing the whole thing, pulled it together like crazy. We cleared a total of $4,265.23. And we had 660, we made 4,925, but we had $660 in expenses, and that didn't really cover. A lot of people donated an awful lot towards expenses, so we didn't put the full expenses in. We had a wonderful turnout from the community. We had, as always, you get Carlos, you get his whole family.
Yeah.
You get
Would not
Beth,
be
you get
able to
her
have
whole
it without
family. You get Jen, you get Morgan.
Families.
Heidi was there, and Laurie and her husband, and,
Not this year, but you usually are.
Yeah,
You both usually are.
and Frank Pera really needs, he brought his truck and helped bring every box of books in the back of his truck. Then he went, when we were out of room, and I was like, what are we gonna do? He went home and he made the top shelves, he made 6 more of them. He had made several the year before last. He made 6 more, so we had second shelves.
And this year, we went around the entire perimeter
Yes,
of the
yes.
building,
Bob
rather
Lane,
than,
Yeah.
also end in this, every inch of this space. Those, chairs get moved out
Yeah.
by the big strong people.
you know
Never
who
touched
did,
them.
Lisa and Gwen did it this year. They
Oh my
moved those
God.
out. Bob Lay, with his men, brought every
Fire
table
department.
from the fire department over and set them up. And then looked at me and said, what do you need? I said, what we really need is a cotton candy machine. He handed over the money for the rental of that. He said, this is not from the fire department, it's not coming out of any budget, it's from me. He came back and picked up every table, he and his men. We didn't have to touch them. He didn't want us to fold them up, he didn't just leave them, and he did it. So I think that was an utterly fantastic thing. A lot of volunteers in the community, a lot of students doing their community service because it's the end of the year, they've got to get it. But a lot of them came back on time that they didn't even have to do it for. A lot of people donated for the bake sale, and we asked the Friends of the Library if they'd like to do it. They didn't have an account to put the money in. So the money had to go into the donation account. But we told them, if you want to sit down with the Adult Services or the Children's Library and earmark them for certain programs that would fit into their programming. I don't know if they've done that yet, I haven't heard. The bake sale made $372.40, and we had sponsorships totaling $1,070. They've all been thanked, handwritten thank you notes. Laurie and I did that. Donation box we put on it raised $37. The silent auction, which was new this year, raised $775 with people calling me after the book sale and saying, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me? And it was really wonderful. I had one person I called for sponsorship. He said, I've been waiting and waiting for you to call. I said, my number's in the book, just call me. You know? So it was really a wonderful turnout. We
And
started
Kathy
it-
worked very hard.
Everybody
Yes.
worked
No,
very-
Kathy worked
everybody
very
worked.
hard on sponsorships
Oh my
and the
God.
silent auction baskets, so,
Well,
you know, we
everybody
need to
worked
thank you.
really, really hard, and thank you for that. But we started on Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. We were here from 3 until about 10 that night. I gave up. We're back Friday at 8. I gave up at 9:30 Friday night. But, Lisa and her mother, you were here till 10:30, 11, and Lisa and her mother were here till 12:30 in the morning. And then Saturday we were back at 8 and stayed till 5 or 6, and then Sunday it was all cleaned up by 2.
I'd say 2:30.
Yeah, and everything was better than we found it. So,
And I didn't have to, I was gonna say I didn't have to mop the floors, but that's
I-
not true.
I always know it's
Somebody
cleanup
had-
time when Beth comes in with her vacuum and her bucket and mop.
Because one year we had soda all over the floor.
Yeah, yeah. And,
And I think had the weather been a little bit better than
Yes.
it was, we would have had even a larger crowd than
Yeah.
we did have, so, but we
the
still
other side
even.
of that coin is we had so many more people for the books. It was
Yes.
packed. We had
Yeah.
18 dealers on Friday night,
Yeah.
pay an entrance fee to come in. That's twice what we've ever had.
Yeah.
3 times.
Because every year it gets better and better. And Jen, how was that? We had face painting in the
Yeah.
library because there was also a library open
Yes,
house.
they
Right
had
off the
a
foot.
musician in the library, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had cotton candy and popcorn outside, the puppies outside.
The tent was great.
The tent
Yeah, we
was
rented
really
the tent.
helpful.
Thank
Yeah.
God for the tent, yeah.
West Newbury Fire Department?
No, that fell for Taylor Rental.
Oh, did you come from
Yeah.
Taylor Rental? I thought, but
No,
anyway,
theirs
it
had
was a
collapsed
great
in the
tent
Apple
up against
Festival.
Town Hall, so we didn't get,
So I stayed dry.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got a little cotton candy,
Jen
but
stayed outside all day long with the cotton candy as it was melting, but it worked
It was fun.
beautifully.
We had
A
fun.
lot of fun, a lot of popcorn, a lot of vacuuming.
so we're able to shift based on the wetter. So last year the music was
You know, if it
outside.
were really a beautiful day, beach
People would be
day,
gardening.
they wouldn't have
Yeah,
been there
yeah,
either,
yeah.
like I'm on the beach
Yeah.
or, you know,
So
whatever.
it's two
That's
sides,
interesting.
two sides. The Friends of the Library put up a big sign introducing themselves. They stopped, Tony stopped everybody that came in to buy from the bake sale and to take, join, sign their email so that they could be sent out when they
Contacted.
finally have a venue,
So it's
way to
really
put
a
them on.
great step in
Yeah,
the direction
it
of
is.
getting the Friends, momentum back there.
Yes,
So,
I know they're
excellent.
gonna continue that, at the Bagnell Bash on the 14th.
excellent,
Nice.
excellent. And
So if
then-
they need anything, if they're doing a bake sale then,
I'm not sure if she's just doing
Anyway.
information or a bake sale,
Or
but
just
they're
let
just
us
gonna
know
continue
if
with
we
it.
need
Right,
to
that's
bake.
it's great to
can
get
do.
your face and name out in the public.
Erica brought brownies at 1 o'clock, 'cause I don't know, my mother was visiting, that's why I wasn't
That's
here.
right,
So-
yeah.
Anyway, so Maria was like, thank God, we just ran out of brownies.
Yes.
Late entries are good. Anyway, in the light of time,
Can
or
I
in
just
the
say one
interest
more
of
thing,
time.
Can I
Yep.
have one more thing? We also got a late donation for the appeal. That's, Jen's gonna
Oh,
send a
yes,
thank
yep.
you. Everybody has been thanked for the appeal. It brings the total to $3,738 for the appeal that's going to the media center at the library.
3,000.
We've raised $8,003 this year between the appeal and the book sale, and I'm tired.
Okay, can you tell me that number again?
$8,003.
No, the
Total.
What's the appeal?
appeal.
The appeal was 3,738 by the time we took the postage was $427 and the printing was $650.
So does anybody remember, is that the third annual appeal? appeal.
That was the
Yes.
third annual
And
appeal.
is it the fourth book sale or third book sale? I think maybe the fourth.
Oh, we've been doing book sales for
No, I
years
meant-
and years and years,
But
yeah.
as big as this one is.
Oh, they've been growing and growing. First year Suzette Thronson and I did it,
No, no.
$1,000
Yeah.
was the first time we ever hit $1,000.
Yeah.
So,
All right, excellent.
so
So-
it's grown.
Thank God. We did a great job.
Thank you for your time.
And bylaws update. So that's a subgroup, Lori, Carlos, and Kathy, and Carlos emailed us the document that they worked on. I don't know if anybody's had a chance, or I'm hoping, I should say it differently, I'm hoping everybody had a chance to, go over it. Who's leading the discussion?
Apparently Carlos.
Lori? Didn't think about that piece, huh?
We did not.
Well, we went through and looked at a bunch of different bylaws, and then looked at our bylaws, and reviewed to see what was missing or what we thought needed to be strengthened, and then we essentially came up with the document you guys have in front of you. We broke it into different sections, following a lot of what we read and saw from other organizations.
Oh, yeah, there were paragraphs that were listed, which was perfect.
And we also had advice from Denise.
Right.
And MBLC, Mass
Yes.
Library Board.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of took out some of the things that were in our current one, which was just restating things that we already have to follow. So we kind of just mentioned that we're following the Massachusetts general laws, as well as
Town law.
the town
Town
laws
bylaw.
and Board of Trustees from the state, and kind of documented, here's so each section will talk about, the first one is just the name of the group. The second article is just the purpose and what the objective is of having trustees. The third goes into the trustees, why they are, who the members, how is the membership made up? If someone goes or decides to no longer be a member, how do we fill that position? Then who the officers are and what their position, what their duties are, as far as each one of the officers, and then what the responsibilities of the board are in general. We also kind of covered what the meetings, how the meetings should be held. We kind of went a little, when we wrote the board shall hold monthly meetings at a location, date, and time agreed by the board. We did that because we keep having them in different places, so we didn't want to say in the bylaws that we'll have them at the library and then we don't.
Right.
And then that we would post meeting notices at least 48 hours, which is, prior to meeting date and time, and that we will give a copy of the bylaw, of the minutes to the town clerk, and they will distribute them as they,
And we do that.
because we don't tell them, we can't tell them, distribute them this way, they will take care of that,
Right.
so. And then that we would follow the Robert Rules of Order, which is, so that everybody does, and everybody should be, so it's in there. And then we covered the library director and the staff, and essentially just put down what their duties are and what our responsibilities are. And we finished off saying if we wrote something in here that violates a law, that vacates that, but not the entire document, just that piece.
Good caveat. Standard.
So did anybody see anything they wanted to change or talk about, or after reading it?
I'm just not sure as to, if it's under Robert, no, it wouldn't be under Robert's rules. But how soon do the minutes have to be given to the town clerk before this meeting per se? Is there a time period?
There is.
There is, it has to be before the next meeting though.
I actually don't know, does that say
I'm just
that?
wondering, because I don't know if
It
that's
doesn't.
in, or if it's
Yeah.
other groups I've been belonging to, it's like has to be in so many hours before, or something,
No.
just
No,
like a
it's-
posting.
Town here doesn't require.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
okay, so it's a
Get
town.
somebody else's meeting minutes and there can be months that are missing.
Some haven't been in there in years.
So,
Right, I just, because I know that they're trying to post them online.
right, so our general, since what, this 2014, I was trying to, in general, trying to get it within the,
The week.
closer to the meeting so that we can all track our action items.
Right.
So, but that's not a requirement, that's just a nice to have.
Okay.
And then, in general, the rule, what's the word I wanna say, like our actions have been that we always put the agenda and the minutes out before the next
Right.
meeting.
I didn't know if that was something
not
that has
required.
to be required, and should that be in here?
No.
It's not, okay.
Although the town clerk or anybody within the town can request those minutes
Right.
Right.
at any
You can
point.
go in there and read them whenever you want.
Right,
Right, well, I'm
So-
saying if you.
Right, they can
delay doing
request.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
and that's town,
Right, that's
yeah.
their thing, right.
yeah,
Because I know we had talked about that, but there's some groups that haven't done
Right.
that, and we have been pretty diligent, you
yeah,
know.
we've been,
They're in the book, they're not all online.
Right.
And I've been corresponding with Nancy about, I can give you the electronic copies of all the notes that you don't have online, because some of them are scanned and they're huge. And I said to her recently, do you want me to just send them to you now and you can put them in so they
Is it
won't be that
Nancy or Ann,
size?
the clerk?
well, Nan,
Well, the Ann has everything,
Oh,
but in terms of what's online,
Oh,
Nancy doesn't
Nancy
have
does it.
everything up online yet, and so we've been corresponding about that. And if she wanted to take some of the older ones that are really big, because I think they were scanned in from the documents from Ann, I said I could just send her my copy from,
so when you send
The
copies,
computer.
I'm assuming you're gonna send PDFs that can't be changed, rather than Word documents.
Correct.
Which,
well, mine are Word documents, so obviously I need to change that.
yeah, so that's the advantage of scanning versus, so you wanna send a non-manipulable document. So PDFs are usually locked, not to say there's not ways around that, but makes it harder. So,
Okay, so I will
Um,
fix that.
and you can also send, cause Ann can print them out, so you could send the PDF again, for her to print.
and then you can just keep it as a Word on yours, if there are any changes
Yeah.
to the minutes, you go back, change it.
Well, no, because once I've submitted them, there are no changes.
Yeah, there are
to
no
the
But
changes.
once they're
minutes.
voted
Yeah.
on, there's no change.
Yeah, so
The
you-
only thing I corrected was Anne Marie. Anne Marie's name was ANNE on the minutes, and it should have been ANN. So I've tried to make sure that we're consistent, and I apologize to her for doing her name wrong. But once and they have my signature on it, I have an electronic signature, so, that gets signed and ready to go.
So the minutes from, let's say, for instance, tonight would not go to the town until after next month's meeting.
That's
when
right.
We vote on them.
That's right.
Because we have to.
So the April 23rd now can go.
Now
And then
that's
if you
been
miss a
accepted.
month in the summer or something, it's a couple months out before they go.
Yeah,
So it's
Before
not
they're
they're
voted
submitted
on.
before the meeting?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
after they've been voted.
yeah.
Right, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
So they're not official until, and so the town hall doesn't get unofficial ones, they only get the official ones.
Yeah.
Excellent. So,
Looks good.
do we have any changes, goals? One of the things I noticed was the resignation goes to town clerk, because we had sent it to selectmen, so I'm not sure Ann has Lisa's resignation from last year. I mean, I did not send it, I gave it to the selectmen at that
I
meeting.
think Lisa went in, but I'm not sure. I'm not
Okay.
100%
All
sure.
right, well, I'll just follow up on that,
Yeah.
because I have the electronic. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the bylaws as amended, and, I will say one more thing, sorry. The document should have an automatic revision date on it, or a revision date.
Well, that would be, we were looking at adding that as, when it was accepted, it would be on
In the
here saying
document,
On that
perfect.
that it was
So-
accepted on.
Don't you
Yep.
have this as a first reading, and then you come back for a second reading in case the public would like to take a look at these and have comments, since it applies to them? That's how all the
Doesn't
Public.
apply to them, it don't even to us.
I've always done it on a first reading, and then you come back with a second reading in case there's any changes that need to be done, because the public needed to.
I don't think the
Has-
public
No, these
would
are
do
our
on our,
bylaws.
these are our
These are
bylaws,
trustees.
so
So
they
the
wouldn't have a public
You are
comment.
part of the public, we're elected officials, and so the public has a say on the library trustees' bylaws, on how they want the library trustees to operate and represent the public.
And
So
we,
it's
and,
always-
and where do you know that from? Like, where do we find this out?
That's-
Cause
And
what,
I can
what-
send you I can send that to you, I didn't bring it with me, but I can send that to you.
Just where
We don't-
did that come from? I didn't, we haven't been told that, so where do you know that from?
Where do I know that? From 5 years on the school committee.
Okay,
5 years
but
on the
how did
school
you find
committee.
that out on the school committee?
It was part of our training from the state training, that you do and we went through all the policies there, we had the policy committee, and, because we had to do the same thing as an upgrade, only our policies were very large, and you did and one thing is, I don't have a copy of this revised policy as a public member, but you did a first reading, so you could digest it, have the discussion about it, then you come back and vote on as a second reading.
But we've already sent it out. We sent it out ahead of time for review so that we would make a motion on this
Who did you
meeting.
send it to the review?
We sent it to our board.
Because we're the ones who are gonna vote.
So it was said, here are our bylaws that we have done.
But you didn't have the discussion on the changes that you're making on any previous meeting. So if you sent it out,
From the old bylaw?
then you could be if you've had discussion via email, then you're violating.
Which
the
was
We
no
did not have a discussion
Yeah,
via
we need to carry
email.
on the meeting, Madam Chair.
But you didn't have.
Madam Chair, we need to carry on
Okay.
the meeting.
Why don't we check with,
Just let me
Go
say,
check
finish your,
with, go check
finish
with
your,
the attorney
finish.
general, I don't care.
no, I want you to finish your point.
My point is that I don't have a copy of your revision. It's not available to the public. So, and then you've also made amendments to this, where I can't make any notes on this or make any comments because I haven't seen those. You've only wrote. And
So
so,
I'm sorry.
you have, I mean, those are two things there.
So, I'm not sure that our bylaws were ever public.
Oh, they've
and-
always
Yes,
been
they
in the,
are.
they've al,
They are.
excuse me,
Always
they've always
been
been
available.
in the,
Available.
yeah, they've
You're
always been
always
available.
public, you're a public entity.
Always been available in the library,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
So, in the binder in the library. So I would like a motion to,
No, I think we need to review exactly what it is so that we
Policy.
understand what the
Yeah.
policy is.
I think
so.
That we have
so
something
the-
in
we'll just
writing.
check with Denise.
Well,
That's what I was going to
I'm
say.
looking at the, excuse me, I'm looking at the Library Trustees Handbook, Mass Library
Mhm.
Trustees Handbook.
Right.
Page 19, bylaws.
Mhm.
Every library board should have its own written set of bylaws, the framework, rules, and regulations covering the meetings and operation of the board. Bylaws should be drafted and revised as needed so as not to conflict with any local, state, or federal laws or regulations. Be aware that some libraries do not have bylaws that are specific to the library. Instead, they use the laws laid out in their municipal charter, act of special legislation, or original municipal articles of incorporation. Trustees should each have his or her own copy of all the bylaws and rules which govern their library. It is each trustee's responsibility to read and familiarize him or herself with the library's governing documents, and this says what they should include, the name, the purpose, who served, method of board.
We reviewed all
Yes,
that
Mhm.
when
So
we
is
did
there any
this.
place that says that it should be,
To need to be reviewed by the
No.
public, no.
yeah,
On that fact, I make a motion to accept the bylaws as amended.
and, can I have a second?
Second.
Well, wait a minute, you can't. because you're
Oh,
on the
I'm on the
bylaw
committee,
committee,
sorry.
and I still think that we need to.
That's right.
I think
I
this needs
think,
further
still we
discussion.
need to get further discussion. I
Right.
think we need
So-
to table
Let's
the
table
motion
this.
until
Table
we
it till
get
next
in
time.
writing
So the
and talk to
bylaw,
Denise about what specifically we
Denise,
need to be
Unless there's
doing.
something different in the
Okay.
town of
Right.
Groveland,
so
but-
can I have a motion that we, that the bylaws committee, investigate, look further into it and bring it back, to us for agenda item in the end of June,
The June.
What is our meeting?
25th meeting.
June 25th.
Can you also place a copy of the revised bylaws in the library?
And the bylaw committee check to see whether that's
We'll
appropriate.
check.
And your public,
We know.
Okay.
the Freedom of Information Act requires.
That's fine, and,
Until
I
it's-
didn't hear
and
you
this is
say that.
still part of the meeting, I'm not
We're
sure.
still in a meeting.
I'm not sure if comments are supposed to be going on constantly throughout the meeting, or if it's supposed to be at the end of the meeting, I
That
guess
would
I
be
don't
the
Actually,
understand
I
that.
should
that piece.
Yeah.
set that. So at the end of the meeting, if we have any further questions, if there's time, we'll take more questions. I apologize.
Thank you.
So let's table it, and you're gonna look through those both two requirements, because, versions might not need to be public.
Right.
And once it's done, they can make comment on it. But anyway, I don't
We'll
know until,
Clarify it with Denise.
And clarify it on the 25th.
Yeah.
but
And
That's fine.
for the
and
25th
then they'll be
meeting.
made
Sure,
public, if
Okay,
not before then.
fine.
all right.
Well, we
Next.
need well, we haven't had the motion to do
So can I
that.
have a motion for that?
Motion to table?
Table.
And it can't be us, because we're on.
Okay,
the
I'll make
committee.
Motion to table, the bylaws update till our June 25th meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we're on
I
to,
think you could ask Denise to look into all of that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's really good at this.
Yeah.
and Barbara, policy update. So Barbara had given us homework, and one of them was the policy on patron behavior,
Yes.
and,
Oh, is that my,
the documents already have, the, footer stamp, which is nice.
Did anybody say anything they wanted to change?
Revised and adopted the,
It's adopted on.
date, which will need to be changed, but I personally did not see,
I had-
yes.
I had something in the, where you have only one person at a time.
Sorry, where?
It should be, it's,
In the restroom section.
Front page,
The second
in the restrooms section, the second from the
Second
bottom.
paragraph from the bottom.
No, it's at the bottom.
Where it says, only one person at a time is allowed in the restrooms with the exception of a parent and child, elderly person and caregiver, and would it be handicapped?
yeah, ED.
CAPP,
Yeah,
ED.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one I had, I would, it says drunken, I would say intoxicated.
Yeah.
Because it could be, any sort of,
Right.
drug, substance.
And the only thing I had a question about was the process of how, disruptive behavior will be addressed by following these progressive steps. Issue a verbal warning. I think, in the request the person leaves, I think if there's something that isn't right, I don't think we can expect a staff member to do this. If there's a question, there's an intoxicated person or someone using profanity or abusive, prolonged, indecent behavior, I don't think I think the police should be called. There's too many things that go on now. I don't think any of that should be part of it. I think the police should be called instead of expecting a staff member to follow steps that become confrontational.
So I think some of the challenges are that there's levels of behavior. So some is like,
Yeah.
you children are being loud.
Right.
So
that's
then there's
different.
that, I think it maybe the last caveat should be, at any point, staff has the ability to circumvent these and call police.
Yeah, because it's just
Yeah.
so too many crazy things happen
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and you don't go to, you skip the warnings and you go right to, so is there language you can put in there to,
Well,
go
should we
right?
still have the steps, the first one being a warning?
I think there needs to be levels, because if it is something that the staff can handle, if it's a
Right.
parent
Right.
with an unruly
Absolutely.
child,
Exactly.
then, or whatever.
But if it's somebody
I
intoxicated.
think
That's a
I just
different
think.
But I think the staff has enough smarts to know that.
but I think it just in number 4, it should say, and at any, number 4 is, steps may be eliminated at the discretion of,
Staff member.
at staff member.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Including, and always safety and calling the police is a viable option.
Right.
Any other similar language
I
to
mean,
that?
if somebody's loud on a cell phone, that's one thing, but if somebody's abusive and,
Right.
Physical
You need to
or-
be able to be
Right.
safe, and you need to be backed up with policy.
And the warning could be, I will be calling you.
I am calling.
that's where I am calling. I'm on my way now to my phone.
Like go from one
Speaking
to
of,
skip to
speaking of
one.
phone calls, do the staff, maybe we'll do that under staff, right?
Okay, I will make these changes and
Bring
send them out,
Yeah,
yeah,
and we can vote on the.
yeah, and vote on it for next,
Yeah.
okay. But I have another one for next time.
Yes, good. Um,
And I think we really need to add in a policy that I don't think we've had before, is staff and volunteers, how they treat every patron who comes into the library.
and Barbara, I was wondering if you could look at town policy.
I don't think that belongs here.
Oh, not in this policy?
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, separate policy.
So are you checking town policy to see whether a town policy might trump that?
Mhm.
Because of, town employee policies,
Mhm.
behavior.
Oh, not this, but you mean the one.
For a
And-
different
yeah, the one
policy,
that
I'm sorry,
Kathy-
I muddied the water there. What one do you have now, Barbara, to look at?
Just maybe make a note to myself, so I
I'll first
forget.
take it.
And are you gonna send them to us electronically so that we can already have read them, so that maybe we could do?
Well, she hands them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand out the new one, but the changes I'll make, because I've already got it in the computer.
Okay,
I'll
so
just
that we
change it
can-
So that we can just, okay, this one.
So this is the one that you looked at.
So this is our homework.
This is the new one for next time.
Ah,
Yeah.
I think there's 2 there.
And you'll have a helper come next month, right?
Yes, and there are 2 here, one's on a card eligibility and use policy and card borrower's agreement.
They kinda go together, so
Yeah,
I
they,
thought,
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect.
Now, were these ones that were already done by Kim?
these were started by Kim, yes.
Okay.
And I, read them and massaged them a little bit, but mostly this is a lot of Kim's work. So,
So previous
Yeah.
trustee, when they did it, and the last time it was looked at, so,
yeah.
maybe, can you check the staff and email that for staff?
Oh,
and
yeah, I'll
volunteer?
give them a
An
copy.
email,
Laura, do you want one?
Sure.
no, I meant, policy on staff and behavior.
Reading.
I'm gonna go
And
back to the
volunteer.
book and look too.
Staff and
And
volunteers.
volunteers.
I'm gonna look there first and then I'll talk
To
the
every
staff.
patron who comes through the door.
Okay, so, we're not making a motion, on the behavior until next week, or can we say as revised?
No, let's see it.
Let's see,
Okay.
it because there's something else that comes up.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that was enough, 3 pages.
Yep. Feedback from staff. So,
June schedule? You wanna talk about feedback?
June schedule, and, one of the, speaking of phones, was it Lori that, you heard that the phones aren't working right?
Yeah, we've been in and out, at the library.
Yeah.
Jen, I know, has been in a lot, Beth and I keep talking the camera.
So we bought phones recently, I mean,
Is it a
within the
phone
last
problem
2
or the
years.
line problem?
The
No,
hand
I think
calls.
it's that these are commercial, it gets commercial use, and we bought, phones from Best Buy. So they're not,
So the cordless phones are just shutting off in the middle of conversations with patrons. So, that was brought up to us, and so you were looking, Carlos,
And they're
right?
always put back in the dock so that they're charged?
They are.
You know, when you're making it the kind of use that it is. And also they requested, a cordless phone in addition to at the director's desk and at the main area, to have another one at the children's, which they haven't had there before, but she's mostly in that area, so it would be good for her to have. So we're looking at doing a 3-phone
Mhm.
cordless setup. And I know, Carl, I was gonna get it, and then you were gonna look to see if you had,
Yeah, and I have just a one.
okay. So I said that I would just take care of that and get it for them so that they would have it. We wanna make sure that we're addressing, the things they're bringing up to us. Their scanner was broken, and I brought in a scanner that I had that we have no use for, that's in perfect condition. But I was missing the power cord. So you were gonna,
Yes, I went to the site and trying to get the power cord for it.
okay. So their scanner isn't working, so we're trying to, and you talked about that maybe you had a spare.
Yeah, I know I do. Just
Okay.
gotta find it.
So we thought if we gave them a couple of scanners, so that, why not? Use it here or use it there, So we're just trying to get input from the staff in terms of what kind of things do they need? How are things going?
Daily annoyances that would make it life easier, that, in the moment when we don't have a director, or an interim director.
Tell us what we can do,
Yeah.
Let us help.
right, let us help.
On
Um,
this schedule is Kelsey, who's Kelsey?
That's the summer help.
That's summer.
She'll be working primarily with Julie on the program.
Have you gotten any feedback from anybody about Julie?
Everyone that we've talked to, at least myself, I know, it's been great. Easy to work with, willing to do anything. Was really excited and happy to get the story times right back on the schedule. As you can, we didn't bring it up.
She just hit the ground running. She
Very
really
good
is.
at cataloging,
Wonderful.
apparently. They said that her cataloging skills were excellent.
Oh,
And
great.
she is feeling very comfortable.
Yeah.
She feels that the people there have been very helpful. In the middle of all this, we also had an employee who couldn't be there, who was out ill, and so people were really kind of jumping in and helping wherever
All
it
seems
was
to
needed.
be relaxed and
Right.
teamwork and happy.
And the kids like her.
Yeah.
So that's really the most
Yeah,
important
yeah.
too.
You know how they fall in love with them. you
Right.
know,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, so the,
She came over to the knitting group tonight. I introduced her to
Just-
everybody.
That's
Yeah.
good.
good.
But every time I
Excellent.
see her, she's very, I love it, yeah, I love it, it's
Yeah.
great, yeah.
Sure, I would, on the street either. So this is, the staff schedule. I don't know, I haven't, tallied the hours, but it looks like everybody is going back down to
They're supposed to.
their regular hours. And now that Julie's in the mix. So that's good. After I calculate it, they can always adjust it, because it's the beginning of the month if we need to. It looks like Thursday's a busy day. But
This
Kelsey's
is-
also training,
Yeah, and if you look at the hours, some of them only there a couple.
couple
3
hours,
hours,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they seem to be making a nice,
Yeah,
a
I
good
know when I was in
cohesive
there, they
team.
were asking
Um,
questions and they were like, really wanting to know
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's great. We've
Yeah.
invited them, but there's a giant program going tonight, so obviously that's why,
what
they
are we
can't.
talking about?
Staff.
Stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Invited the staff to join us
They were gonna-
to
they
come
were
over and
gonna-
talk to us directly, but, there's a program tonight, so they're not able. But we've also told them not to hesitate to
Oh,
bring
that's what I
anything
told them.
up
I
to
said,
us.
call me at home if you have to, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
whatever.
The other thing,
But they seem
Yeah,
they
seem
really
to be-
covered really well in the week of the crisis.
Oh,
They all
yeah.
really worked well together, and they seem very comfortable
They
and
seem relaxed.
relaxed.
Yeah.
And we've even said, we'll come in and help
Yeah.
in an area that you need it. Many of us have gone in and said
the
that
only
to
thing we
them.
can't do is check out people, but we could do anything else that they tell
Kathy,
us to
you
do.
and I know
I
how
can
to
do
do
that.
that.
I guess
On
it's-
Evergreen, on
I
Evergreen?
can-
We did it once.
Yeah, it's a privacy issue of sorts, that was brought up to us from the staff. That because we're not staff.
So we don't take the oath.
Yeah.
Right.
Hell,
We could drink the
just made sure.
We can drink it, that's fine.
You can
Um,
show.
We'll take the oath.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing that I actually heard a long time ago from Diana, and is that the kitchen sink needs to be changed, because it's a bathroom sink. So there's no way to, or to actually wash a dish after a program, or get the coffee pot underneath of it to fill up the coffee pot to make coffee for a program, which, we don't know because we're not there doing it until, and so anyway, that's something we need to look at. I mean, it was put in immediately because we had an emergency situation. So
Right.
they just ran and got whatever. So maybe we can think of that,
Right.
at some point when,
You mean they got a new sink?
what?
Oh, this was a couple years
Oh,
ago.
yeah,
couple years ago.
yeah, a
I
couple
thought you were
years
talking
ago,
like
when-
in the
yeah,
last
no,
month.
Oh, no,
no.
They need a new sink.
Yeah, it's a little bathroom vanity.
Yeah.
And, but the thing exploded and, was,
The pipe was
Yeah.
stuffed with rags, and Jen donated a new welcome
Yes, I got the
sign.
welcome flag.
and I did the other thing for programs was,
You stuffed the
the
bean
teapot.
bags.
Oh, yes, the bean bags. I got new beans for the teen room, bean bags. I love them stuffed. They're excellent. And they wanted a teapot, automatic electricity teapot,
Oh,
because people at programs, a lot of people like the tea
And
versus coffee.
I've been in touch with the cleaning company to ask them to please change the liners when they empty the waste baskets, to please.
They were leaving the liners and just dumping the
Yeah.
trash and leaving
But
the liners.
that's that's been an ongoing.
That's, but yeah, that was.
And the other one was, we had 50, like, speaking of programs and making programs nice and easy, it is 52 people at the last program on historical,
Homes.
historical homes in the area.
And there was someone said there's a good
Saturday.
crowd today.
There's a large
There's
crowd
something on
tonight.
Saturday too.
Well, this is the first of that series of programs that Diana got the grant for.
Abolition.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, Created Equal grant.
Yeah.
So that is fabulous. So there's no voting on the staff feedback? I don't think so.
Insurance. there's
Oh.
coffee for everybody.
So there's a copy, so one of the questions was about programming is Nichols Village and whether we have liability coverage. So they sent a copy of their,
They're quite covered.
thank goodness. So I feel good about that. So we don't have to worry about stopping any programs at Nichols Village. And Laura, had you looked at it beforehand? I know you said you're.
Well, that bottom is showing you that the additional named insured is Lynn
Is us.
Adams
Right,
Library, so
yes.
it's fine.
Excellent.
Effective March 15th.
You can never be too careful with liability.
Yes. So that's fabulous, especially when we're sending staff there.
Right.
Okay.
Or we're sending patrons.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
and pay for half the programs. They pay for some, we pay for some, so, it's good
It's a good
housekeeping.
collaboration.
Good housekeeping.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm gonna shoot this down to you.
All right, now
What a
H
heck of a
22.
shoot.
No, I'm not
Right.
rushing.
She just moved this
Oh.
back.
822, and now we're going on to
Oh.
staffing. So, interim director,
Where are we with that?
unfortunately, we do not have a candidate.
Right, we had two wonderful interviews
Yes.
and
Both candidates, one was a retired previous director, had worked in southern New Hampshire. Unfortunately, lives on the Cape, and she thought, she really was, she's excellent, she likes to support libraries, but it really was prohibitive. Because we wanted more hours, she was hoping to be able to do some remote work.
we want someone in.
Yeah, we want somebody in.
We're
And-
not a remote library, we're not.
Yeah, and she didn't realize that she because you don't know until you have an interview. It'd be part of the rotation of staffing
Yeah, check our books,
and
show books.
at programs. So anyway, it was too many hours for her. She thought maybe she could cobble it together. She had a sister in Seabrook, so none of them were unrealistic interviews. The other candidate was from Connecticut, which I thought, why are we getting this person? But anyway, he had, I thought maybe it was just a temporary address that was on his resume because he had worked in Wellesley, was his last position. So, Massachusetts, well, we're not that far from Wellesley, so whatever.
Oh, he had a brother in Brookline.
He had a brother in
Right.
Brookline, and
But he did the commute from Connecticut,
2.5 hours, so anyway.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, he also had just resigned from Wellesley and was looking for a job search, but he said when he took the interview, by the time he got to the interview, he now was on the second interview at a place which he never thought it was going to happen ever that fast.
In
So,
Queens, New York,
yeah,
which is much closer to Connecticut for
Connecticut,
him
sure.
Yeah.
than
we were.
Groveland
You take the
is,
trains?
so.
So anyway, so we,
They're
Um,
moving, actually, they were moving to New York,
yeah,
Right.
he
Jen-
and his wife.
Well, can't we give it another week or two? I mean,
They're not,
Well-
they're not coming up with anything.
You know,
Well,
I think that
fast.
I think that we can, but I also think that we are at the point where, you know, if we have a full staff,
Mhm.
we can get to the point of just posting this position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can then take the time to read the resumes that come in
Right.
and discuss,
Good idea.
you know, and interview, but I don't think that we should continue to put this off until we
No.
can find
That's fine.
an interim. I mean, that is the belief that I have.
Well, that's
I
what we
think
all
that-
came to
Yeah,
as a
I
group.
think-
There are
Yeah.
candidates out there that are willing and looking for a full-time job,
Exactly.
you know, not somebody that just wants to work 2 or 3 days in the summer
Right.
because it's the summer.
so when I talked to Bibliotemps on Friday, she said, we could look at, school library directors, but they're only gonna be available for the school, summer, right, that are looking. So, she was, away today, so I have a phone call with her to see whether, you know, we had a magical candidate that popped in. So we're not gonna take it off the table, you know, if they have somebody that they have, they'll send it to us. But we were talking about also maybe just getting another bibliotemp library assistant if we need the body.
Yeah, because we are down a body.
Yeah.
That's right, so we can bring
we
in
will
a
be down a
body
body
at a
on
lower
And
July
cost.
they're readily available, they are cheaper. What we lose if I'm an interim director is, that, person that it has the experience, that is the cohesive driver with the vision. It was very,
Diana's been doing this for over 20 years.
but not
No, but she's been in the
Yeah.
business,
Right.
if you will.
right,
And
but
she's not a novice.
it was so inspiring, it's like going to a conference, it was so inspiring to talk to directors
It
who
really was.
have seen a lot and have great visions and the one woman had been from libraries our size, the other candidate had much bigger libraries with more different kind of funding and stuff. So, you know, there's lots of things that kind of person could bring if for some reason it happens. Because, you know, the last time we advertised and then hired, it was 4 months, and that was very, you know, Lisa is an organized person, and we plowed through it, you know, so we are going to,
And the time before that, it wasn't that long, because Mim left in October, September?
October.
And Deb started, I think, in March.
March, I think it's
So
March
that
too.
wasn't that long
No.
either.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
And-
right, there are people who are looking for full-time jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and there's nothing in our contract that precludes us from having, you know, advertising. The other,
there was something that we could.
We can't look for an interim.
so we can't hire our own
Can
interim.
look for a
We can look for a
permanent,
permanent.
yes.
So the other position that we could also advertise at the same time would be Gail's position. Did anybody get to talk to Gail about, I had asked Gail to think about her role, and, because she's now down to 21 hours,
Could it be done?
well, we know that we're pretty sure town's not gonna give us
A benefited
a
position.
benefited position, so we're looking at 19 hours. So, you know, what kind of skill set were we looking at? There's also resources from Mass Library Systems and MDLC for hiring a director packet and, you know, job descriptions of the kinds of staff that are in an under 10 library. So Gail wasn't there the other day,
No,
so. So anyway,
But the three of us did all say, after this gentleman that we met with, that why are we so stuck on bringing in an interim director?
right.
Why aren't we saying, let's just get a body in with library experience?
Right.
So we're still supporting the staff in the library and having people in there to do what needs to be done. And
And then concentrate on a director.
Yeah,
Right.
and
with-
concentrate
with
on a
the
permanent
degrees,
director
the
instead of an
skills,
interim.
everything that we're looking for to fill that position, and then,
But still
Because it
support our
seems like we're
staff.
having too much trouble getting an interim.
Right, and
They're not-
the
they're not
advantage
there.
of the current interim is that, she's, she's right in there working, so if we get so what I need, I guess, is a motion to set up another contract with Bibliotemps to get a library assistant. And, Kelly from Bibliotemps said that there's,
How many hours are we looking at?
there's a lot of people that we can choose from.
So about how many hours are we thinking about?
That's a good question.
I think that's something we need to look at this schedule and see.
'cause
I mean, I think we should
now we're
count up.
talking 37.
Right.
We know we can't afford that.
But
Right.
remember, we're going at a different pay rate now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Two.
we afford 30.
Yeah.
So
But
we're
do we
going
need
to
30? I
someone,
think that's just something we need to look.
What are we
Summer?
looking at, excuse me, what position?
the we're gonna bring in
Just-
another
just-
assistant,
A library
library
assistant.
Right,
assistant.
but Gail only works 21 hours, why would we?
We're not replacing Gil at this point.
Instead of doing an interim.
Oh, a director,
Yeah.
okay,
But,
yeah. Oh,
but
I
not
know.
even a director, just getting us another
Just-
body.
I know,
because
right,
we
so
can't
it
get an
would,
interim
this would
director.
replace Gail this person would replace Gail
Right.
when she leaves
If we-
as the body.
Right,
If we get a regular director. So,
Well, we're not gonna get a regular director before Gail leaves.
Right.
Right, we're looking for someone to come in to cover the hours that Gail is going to.
exactly.
I thought we were
No,
looking for an additional set of
Additional
hours
person to
because
cover
of
the
the
hours that
interim.
Natalie
is not
was
doing.
not.
Well, then we're looking
Gail
for two
doesn't-
people,
Gail
or
doesn't
a
leave
Yeah.
person
for
and a
2
half,
months.
so I think,
Yeah.
no, Gail leaves in 30 days.
This
So
is
the
her
end of
last day.
July.
No,
No.
and did
No.
you-
Actually, we should put that on record. In the last in the minutes is July 29th
Right,
or whatever it
whatever it
was.
is.
However, Natalie verbally said it is June 29th.
So I think
She's
we,
here on 30th.
right, so
Or like
I think
June
that's just
30th.
something we need to double check as to what her last day is, but, so
Yeah.
we're either looking for a body or two bodies,
Yeah.
someone to come in
I
and,
think it's July because Gail's one of my neighbors and I spoke with her and we were chatting about, what's she gonna do, blah, 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 blah. And I said, so what's Hank gonna do? And he said, he's retiring the next week, August 4th.
Oh,
All right,
So I think
anybody got the
July-
library
I
on
thought it
speed
was
dial?
Mike.
Can somebody just go call them?
They're not there.
It's 8:30.
that's
oh,
8:30.
8:30, they're gone.
Oh, darn.
We can call tomorrow,
Tomorrow's another day.
because she's working.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, she's working too,
It
she doesn't work
was-
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
All right, somebody count the people in the library. Natalie,
Well,
Gail.
some are very part-time too, it's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
how many hours they work a week.
Oh, all right, yeah, so Gail is retiring in July.
Well, that's the minutes.
Her last day will
Yeah.
be Tuesday, the 29th is, so you're saying that Natalie said something different than what was written in her
I
report?
didn't hear her say anything.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll find
Well,
that
let's
out.
We'll find it
from
out.
her, But
But
I know
so-
she said that to me.
Right, so we need a person to cover the Natalie hours,
Yep.
and eventually need the person to cover the Gale hours. So it's either a person or a person and a half hour wise,
So right now, what we're saying is we wanna make a motion to have, in lieu of bringing in an interim director, bring in library assistant.
Yes.
Until we can bring in
A
a permanent director.
Yes.
Right. And if that person works out, and we don't have a place Gail, she could stay longer.
But
all
that's
we
not
have.
the Gail person, this is,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Right,
that's
now,
all we
So
have.
that we might be able to keep that same person and drop her hours. So I'm thinking, right now, the interim director was at a 32 to 35 hour request.
And we dropped that slightly so we could increase the youth services.
No, we increased the youth service librarian because there is no director at the moment. So
Right.
we have that budget, because all the set salary. So she is currently working
She went back, I think.
more
I think
than
they backed her up.
to 30 hours.
But she is available to work more, we did check into that.
Right, so we can,
So can I just ask what an assistant, okay, so we find this assistant, who is the person to go to?
Diana,
It still would be Diana, okay, she would be the acting director then.
she's the full-time person with the most experience.
That's what I'm, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's, you know,
you have to be
assistant
very
she
careful.
wants
No,
the
she
title
doesn't want
of.
that.
You don't wanna
No.
say acting
No.
director, because
No,
she,
but I mean, she would be the person to go to. She
Right.
would be the person who does
She's
the
the
reports,
FTE.
she would come
She's
here.
the only full-time employee
Yeah.
there.
And that library assistant, Lauren, is a library assistant, so a jack of all trades. You can do, you know,
Programming,
Programming,
catalog.
help- helping-
That's
help.
what,
Desk
libraries,
work.
okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. I don't know the terms, yes.
yeah. And the advantage of a library assistant is that it would free up Diana and Lauren to do the tasks of timesheets and payroll and,
The voucher.
The
And even
vouchers.
even coverage, and one of them doesn't always have to be.
right.
Because remember, there are vacation times too.
Actually, there's no vacation,
no.
nobody has requested any vacation, and that I had asked Natalie that to check in with people. That doesn't mean people, it's something that can't come up,
Right.
and the chances of something coming up is high.
Murphy's Law.
Right.
So we know for the month of June that we're fairly covered. They'll look at July as it comes in, if we can add another body to
Right.
it.
And somebody might be able to get better breathing room,
Right.
if we get an assistant
And
in,
towards the end of June, they'll be busier because school will be out.
right.
Exactly, school ends, gets out on the 19th.
So, motion to hire a contract with Bibliotemps to have a interim library assistant to the tune of 30 to 37 hours, whatever works for staff.
Can we be even more vague and say 25 to 35 in case the 30's not needed?
Yep.
I think that's an excellent.
Especially since we have our
And-
summer help in there, filling
Exactly,
in some here and there,
exactly.
and we've got, I just don't want
There's
it,
not gonna be room for everybody to sit.
to promise something that we
Right.
find that we may.
And I'd like to see the children's interim get more hours first, because she is available to have more hours. She has a specific slot and a specific program that she's running. I think she should get more hours over another person coming in now as a
The
library
generalist.
assistant.
Okay?
The generalist.
Yes, generalist. So I will talk to Diana and Gail about, getting Julie to the maximum hours.
So, right.
So I make a motion to get an interim library assistant in lieu of an interim library director for the necessary hours to cover until we get a director,
I second
permanent
that.
director.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye. Can we also make a motion,
Any opposed?
I'm sorry.
All right, yes,
I was saying, do we also make a motion to post the director's
yes,
position?
we need to do that. So.
Is this
did
the
I-
job posting that,
Can we go make copies of that?
I don't, did you say this, this?
The last one.
copy machine?
Did-
No, we
Last
finally
meeting.
figured it out.
Oh, did-
I'm gonna-
I know it now.
You know what now?
Yeah.
I'm
Big
kind
girl
of
now?
personal with that copying machine
Oh,
now.
oh, do you wanna go?
I've learned quite a bit. I think I can handle it
I
this
have
time.
that one, just double check.
Is
that
it
that
this or is it this, Beth?
Well, this, I mean, this is the,
I don't know. The
This
one
is-
that we used last year.
that's it.
It's 3 pages?
Well,
Mother of
that's-
Or
God.
what's this?
No, this is.
Oh, no, this is just a description.
That's just a description.
This is a
right.
posting.
That's a posting.
So it's the 3, God almighty. So the posting would be more specific, so that's the job ad.
Yeah.
This is the job ad we used for last time, and, where are you gonna post this?
Yeah, where does it get posted?
It gets posted on the traditional library sites, like say?
MBLC, and what about here in town?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
it
yes.
has to be
It
posted.
absolutely has to be
That
here
has
in
to be
town.
posted.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so, there's 5 places that are classic: Simmons Library, MBLC, MLS,
I
town.
think Simmons only lets you keep it on there for so long and then you have to keep reposting it.
Yeah, re-upping it,
But that's not a big deal.
yeah, and, there's one other place.
Do they go outside of those places like to higher culture or anything like that?
Not generally,
Okay.
not generally.
Interesting.
Yeah, higher ed,
They
there's
really
one,
go to
Just
those
the-
places.
just
I
the
mean, they
basics?
just know.
yeah. Cause I asked the same thing when we were talking to bibliotemps about,
Yeah.
is it covering southern New Hampshire? Well, anybody in southern New Hampshire that's looking for a job in this area will use the same 5 sites, that,
Yeah, and
Those
if
are
they
the
don't
places.
know
If
these
you're a library
sites,
that's
we don't
Yeah.
want
you
to
know
know.
which.
yeah, exactly.
And that's one of the choices you
I don't
have
know.
on the MBLC website.
And then
for
some
jobs.
of the places also will then post to the bigger, the Monsters and the Indeed and, there's another,
Not Craigslist, I take it.
here. Although I think, some people do then repost it, like, for their, a lot of people have gotten jobs on Craigslist.
What kind of jobs?
Yeah, picking up good people, yeah. So,
So are we able to post it to other sites, like
If we want.
outside of that block of?
I
5,
don't think we're gonna have to.
Okay.
yeah,
I really don't.
yeah.
I think you're gonna be surprised.
I think
I'm
there's,
not so surprised at how many you're
I
gonna
was
get.
surprised
I
the only
think
place
that-
Last time,
if it was,
you have a lot of candidates.
oh my
that-
gosh,
yeah.
there were so many candidates. And we also need to create a search committee, which, is important. And the community member last time had made a really good, matrix of all the qualities so that, you could just go through the resumes and they, the 5 that didn't
That's
get the
important.
check, yeah, it makes the cut so much easier, to plow through them. And, I'm sure I still have that,
Florence, right back.
and, I think the only place that we wouldn't be able to post is that someplace that costs money to post.
Sure.
Which would then have to come back to us.
I don't think any of the usual ones charge it.
No, and,
No, I believe, and both of our candidates both said that this is a great library for somebody,
Yeah.
with a degree, either at one end of another of their careers, just because of our size, and.
so the reality is, it's a 2 to 5 year
Yeah,
job.
it's a feeder, if it's a feeder community, in a
Right.
lot of different positions.
Right.
Because they get this start.
Yeah, get their start, or they're at the other end saying, I want something a little bit softer. I'm moving back to the area for, whatever
Here's what
reason,
we're just talking
and
about.
ending on a smaller library.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a 2 to 5 year position if
I
it's
think I need,
somebody that's really
I'm
young.
happy after. I personally, 3 years, if you get, when I hired, if you got 3 years out of somebody, you were ahead of schedule. Because
The nature of it.
the nature of the
Nature
business.
of it, yeah.
And,
It makes
or
sure-
any business, the nature,
Yes.
what's your retention of teachers?
Yeah, right now. The 3 that I have left are still there. But no, I mean,
Yeah, it's hard.
we had to. but,
Yeah. I was hoping that we would get, somebody for the 19 hours when we post. By the way, we have to vote for that too. But I wonder whether the, search committee could also be, Gail position too. Yeah, not have 2 different search committees.
But I think we have to figure out what that position is.
Yes, so we're not ready to
Right.
Well, Gail's
vote on
going to,
that.
didn't you say Gail's going to sit down and
Yeah,
write
so
what
we
she
need to get-
actually-
Is it what it says the position is, which is, I think, is circulation?
Well, it says manager, but you're
Manager.
probably
Library
manager
manager.
19 or 15 or whatever,
Right, so I
number
think
of
that
hours
we
it's gonna be.
need to look at that position to
Yeah.
see if
And
it actually.
And she got that title when she was working full-time,
Well,
8 years.
She was
of,
working
8
28
years of
hours.
Yeah, and
seniority.
Deb had changed her title.
Yes,
Because she
Yeah.
didn't like the other,
Yeah, it's a soft thing.
yeah.
So,
and the other thing we have to think of, the new director might want to hire.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's what we don't wanna rush into that.
Filling Gail.
Yeah.
until-
and if the interim is working out, then maybe we could go longer.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought that's what we had said, that we wanted to.
Yeah, that was the motion,
I
wasn't
think
it?
bring in temps so that the director would have people
Right.
that
Well,
they would bring in.
We had said that about the children's librarian, because that's a more important role than a 19-hour role. But
I
if
think-
we
I-
have
I think
flexibility,
it's-
might as well.
I think it makes sense,
Yep.
because that way
Yep.
they're bringing in a team.
And they're in charge of staff, that's their, so.
Right.
It's perfect. So can I have, so let's look at the, job description. It is 8:45, I'm sorry to say.
I mean, do we take
Okay.
this all home and
Yep.
plan
Yeah.
on
We
this?
are meeting in 3 weeks.
We are
Yeah.
meeting in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
I think that we shouldn't
Thank
try
you.
to just
No.
go through this at this stage.
Exactly.
Thank you. Good compromise. Yeah,
Excellent.
let's look through it, and then, at the next meeting, we can vote on, posting it, make any changes to the description. And then the third thing under staffing would be the summer contractor, Kelsey.
We've already voted that, though.
Yes, we already voted that, so just wanted to say that she's up and, running and in the schedule. All right, now we're out to elect officers, but should I ask if there's anything under other before we go to electing officers?
I think we've covered.
I don't think we have anything.
Is this the point that I can ask a question?
I think we should elect officers first and then,
Go through the agenda.
yeah, go through the action items.
Exactly.
I'm gonna turn the lights off, we're there.
Well, they are on that path.
Okay, so, election of officers, I thought we always did them in June.
it's June.
Oh, well, here it
But this
is,
is
but this is our
our
May
May.
meeting,
Oh,
but anyway,
it's a maybe.
but we've had our new Heidi, is this your first official meeting?
Yes, it
I
is.
apologize,
Official long meeting.
welcome, official, yeah, long meeting, the short meeting, thank you, Heidi Snyder.
No.
Can I just interrupt for one moment? I'm gonna lock the door, but put a brick in it in case anyone wants to come out. Whoever leaves last, can you just push the brick back in so the door's locked?
Absolutely,
Thank
thank you.
you. Brick in the door. So, welcome,
Thank you.
glad you're here.
She's
And
been properly,
sworn in.
well, I mean, all the policies and.
I have fed her everything that I could possibly,
The trust funds,
yes,
you gave her one?
I did.
Wow.
I sort of copied my handbook and
And so you have
Sent her
enjoyable
lots.
reading.
Yeah.
And
documents.
Barbara can indoctrinate you on the details of what the trust funds are about, but you have the list.
Yes.
A list with a description, and they each tell you what we can do with the money. That's why I said before that I took money from 5 different funds.
Yeah.
Because if you read some of those descriptions, they're only for books, and some of them are even for only specific types of books. So it makes it difficult sometimes. When we wanna do shelving and carpeting and
Yeah. So,
stuff.
yeah, you have to, honor the trust
Yeah.
that came. And some books, will get labels they're from this trust.
Yep.
So, all right, so we, last year, we decided everybody was gonna stay the same and that we would change everybody this year because, I didn't feel, ready to be the chair last year, which has traditionally been what we do is the vice chair goes to chair. Because the vice chair is a learning, you're learning and doing a lot of backing up on the chair. So Lisa was kind enough to say she would do it again, and then got overbooked, and so then I took it on in March.
2 months ago, I think it was.
Yeah, March was
A
my
month
first
ago.
meeting, official chair. And, but, I don't have to stay chair, and,
I make a motion to continue Beth as chair because she just started from her vice chair position and has had only 2 months into it. So I make a motion that Beth continue as chair for a year.
It's like,
all in favor?
Do you wanna do it?
No,
do you wanna do it?
Yeah,
Well, don't
I'm
let her
feeling I'm
answer
just,
that
good,
question.
thank you, Laura. I'm just feeling like I'm getting my feet wet and and
Figuring it out.
yeah, and figuring it out, and under that thing of figuring it out and making things, work, I think we need a, filing cabinet in the library for, because that's what I'm finding, is there's lots of information in
Paperwork.
different places. You know, when I was secretary, I have piles from when I was secretary. Yeah, they're not the official minutes, but I think we need some official files that live in the library, you know, like, sort of like when you're done, they don't have to be our current files, because you want them, you know, the treasurer's gonna want them at their fingers, but, you know, the previous month can be filed in the official fireproof document place, and,
Do they have a drawer? All we need is a drawer.
well,
Actually,
there's no draws,
Right now, there
so
are
we need a
drawers.
new filing cabinet.
There's no drawers.
Can we finish the vote first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
let's- yeah,
sorry.
So who seconded?
Carlos,
Carlos.
all in favor? We did that.
We did it.
Okay, so now we need a vice chair.
I would happy to be step up to vice chair if,
I don't
Felt
have any
appropriate.
agenda as vice
Thank
chair.
you.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And secretary and treasurer.
Nominate
So
Ms.
nominate-
Treasurer, because you've been doing it, you know it.
But we can't, we
Yeah,
said
that'd be
everybody
fair.
has to
That'd be
change
fair,
their
yeah,
positions. So if we're going for secretary,
You-
I'd be happy
I
to
saw a
nominate
finger go up,
Carlos.
Carlos.
I thought I heard something. I heard a word down there. Who
So,
seconded and
are you offering treasurer or secretary?
Secretary. and-
Secretary?
I.
are you offering yourself as secretary or motioning for Lori?
No, 'cause I
I'm
can't.
motioning for Lori for
Treasurer.
treasurer.
Oh, okay.
No.
I,
Just swap.
I second that.
Oh, was that why you raised your finger? I thought it was because you wanted to be
Oh,
secretary and I've already made a
You
nomination.
are going to be secretary, right? So yes.
Well, that's-
Excellent.
So wait a minute.
Excellent.
Alright,
It's good to
so-
see new people.
I'm fine.
on board.
Yeah, and
fine.
traditionally, new people we don't give you that poor role, that challenge of having to do
The brand of people,
the
no.
brand new
Yeah.
people.
Okay,
The
so
newer
wait,
people.
who made the motion for Carlos?
I did.
And
Secretary.
who seconded?
I second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
And Laurie's
Aye.
been treasurer for the all sports boosters, so she's got some.
For
So
Kentucky Athletics.
Carlos is
Athletics.
nominating
Carlos nominated Laurie.
Lori.
I'm already.
For treasurer.
We said aye, we said aye. So-
Okay, second,
I'll second it.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
So then meet with each other and transfer the documents and the information, okay? Thank you. All right, thank you.
Do we-
I have one question,
Yes,
actually. The documentations that I'm seeing on your emails, the revised articles, or policies, where's a copy of those?
What,
Where can I go and get a copy of
Oh, they're
the
at the
policy
library.
that you worked on,
The policy book?
the changes?
Oh, I have the policy book at my house, because I can pull them up.
She's got this.
No, the ones that you
policies?
tabled. that
The
you-
bylaws. You're talking about bylaws, not
I'm sorry, the
policies.
bylaws.
Okay,
it's
the
getting
bylaws,
late. Where,
The current bylaws?
no,
They're-
the
they-
ones that you made the revisions on, the revisions of the
The one that we
bylaws
have
that you
written in the
tabled
email that we
to
just-
vote on next
Oh.
time. That should be,
That's in-
Yeah.
where will those be available?
well, they're gonna find out whether they actually have to be available.
we're gonna get
They
the,
have
we're
to
gonna
be
find out,
available.
yeah, we know they have to be available,
They
but we're
have to
gonna,
be available.
but we're gonna find out our whole answer from Denise, and then we will make sure
They're in the library.
that
It's
they're
not
in the
like
library or.
If she could have a
They
copy
have,
of it.
they
right?
have to be
Okay,
available.
that,
know they have
that,
to.
absolutely, we
Yeah.
understand that, we just
Well,
wanna make
the
sure we
voted ones, but I don't know
understand.
whether the revision ones.
Yes.
No,
The voted
revisions
ones
haven't
can-
been done yet.
Whatever you're voting on.
But
any-
we tabled it, so it doesn't need to go
No,
anywhere
but you
until.
were- Anything that, any materials, and we're talking open meeting law, go check with the Attorney General.
We're not,
Anything
we're
that-
not trying to be
No, no,
negative, please understand
This
that.
is an education process.
That's fine, and just
There's-
understand that you're telling us information, but
You
anybody
know,
could
why
say
I
that
get the
to us.
information from.
But what I'm saying to you is, for our knowledge,
Mhm.
you know, we need to know where they're from, because anybody can say anything, but until, I understand that you have a lot of knowledge, but unless we see what the written things are to know,
Right.
we need to understand that aspect. Your knowledge is very much appreciated, and we are grateful for it, but anybody could come in and say anything that they had the knowledge, so we wanna make sure that we understand it completely in writing.
I understand that.
I think
And I
what she's
appreciate
saying
it,
is
but
because
one-
it was even here, like we.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, to
Calendars,
start.
Brittany printed that out.
No, but we've been giving her
One-
documents.
one
But not that
premise-
one. She doesn't
One,
have that one,
if you
so
go
she's saying.
on the theory of you're doing public work,
Mhm.
so anything that you hand out needs to be a packet for the public.
That's
It
fine.
could be at the before the meeting, so that you're one not running to make the photocopies, and that includes,
I've actually heard other things that, other people say to me that I do not have to hand out things, so
So why don't
that's
we
why,
find
that's
out?
why we're looking for
please,
clarity.
please check up.
Absolutely, and see,
And I
but
don't
but
want-
sending the
I don't-
calendar and stuff like
I don't wanna make
resumes,
things available.
resumes, we didn't wanna
No,
hand
you
out to
don't need
anybody.
do the resumes until you get down to the last 3 or.
But even someone's resume should be made available to the
No.
public?
We might-
I
we
don't
might-
think
we might
that's the
redact
case.
it.
But you
Anything
can
you want
redact
on it,
any,
that's
you know,
open
we
meeting
might have
law.
to redact different
That's
things
right.
and make some
Exactly.
available.
Okay, those
Exactly.
are all the
Exactly.
things that we just need to understand to make
Right.
sure that we
And
have
we'll find
everything
that out
right.
as a board.
And so I didn't know that we could hand you something that hadn't been voted on yet for bylaws that were specifically
somebody's-
for us, which is why I made sure you had all the other documents.
And I do appreciate you handing
Right.
that out.
And we do
like minutes,
appreciate
not
what you're
that are-
telling us, we
minutes
know
that
that,
weren't
but we just
voted
need
on
to make
yet.
sure we get the
No, it's
written
not a
part
document.
ourselves.
Work in progress.
Do you want a motion?
And we're a work in progress.
Well,
I
so
understand.
review the action items and then we'll make a
Oh.
motion to adjourn.
I did.
So-
Is that your last question?
That is,
Thanks.
and if you make that.
And we will follow through on that and make sure.
My action item was
Denise
to
will
check
have
on the
that.
maps.
I'm sorry.
Denise will have that answer for today.
Absolutely,
Oh, that's
absolutely,
off the
she's
top of our
fabulous.
head.
So, and we'll make sure that going forward, that we make sure we have whatever are the appropriate documents here.
Before the meeting.
Yeah, here, for the people.
So Laura, do you have action items to review?
I do not, do I? I do not.
Oh, from last month?
No,
No,
from your minutes.
Oh, for tonight?
Tonight.
So we're going to look into.
No.
Okay,
Are there
anybody?
any actions?
Yeah, Kathy was gonna check Okay. with the.
I'm
so
checking on the maps.
Oh, and the
Maps.
maps, all right.
Carlos is doing
Carpet.
two versions of carpet. What are you doing, your policy?
I'm changing the things on the policy I gave you tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
checking in with the town about behavior thing. I'm gonna check with the staff about the volunteering.
And I'm checking, okay, you don't.
No, that's
sorry.
enough.
Okay, and I'm checking
Well, I'm
that,
gonna get- I'm
that
gonna
the
Yeah.
town
contact
clerk
Lori.
has Lisa's resignation.
And you're also
Yeah.
checking on the bylaws, sharing of
Unfinished stuff.
No,
unfinished.
the bylaws
think-
committee is doing
yeah.
that.
Oh, you're,
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you guys
yeah.
are
Bylaws
going to,
committee is doing that.
Um,
I am going to, make a new contract with Bibliotemp
Excellent.
and with Denise and continue that conversation. The bylaw committee will probably continue
who's
to meet.
contacting Gail?
Yeah,
I
I
think
will.
Jen was gonna talk to
Yeah,
you.
I was
well,
going to,
you
I
know-
just
you know
haven't-
what, Jen, you're in the hospital, you're in the hospital.
I'm in the
You're
hospital?
You're in the library more than I am,
I'll
so
talk to Gail.
that would be great.
Excellent.
Just ask her what her last day is.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, and I'm
yes.
doing
Last
the
day.
phones.
And can that data point be emailed?
And all
It's
new,
just fact.
I'm
all
doing
new
the
Yes, it can.
officers
phones.
would meet with all
Yes,
the
it can.
previous officers
Right.
to
Right.
get
Yeah.
what.
And I will update the police list and the staff list.
I'm sorry, I'm doing last day and job description, job duties.
Job
Responsibilities.
responsibilities
Yeah.
and any insight that she might want to
So
share.
what's unique to her position that
Yeah.
no one else in the library
And,
does?
and also from her viewpoint, what is useful and what is not useful.
Right.
Like, having this skill would be a really good asset or,
Mhm.
just in lieu of a director getting that information,
Mhm.
if you could pull that, that would be great.
Oh, you mean at those points, is that what you had wanted me to provide? Yeah. I knew it, I just hadn't put two and two together.
Yeah, it's right, she is checked out.
Aren't you glad he's gonna be the secretary moving
Can I have a
forward?
motion
And
to
wait,
adjourn the
vouchers,
meeting at-
vouchers, there were 23
I
vouchers.
make a motion to.
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
wait, vouchers.
23 vouchers for
Oh.
$1,059.70, 5 vouchers for $1,030.89, 18 vouchers for 2,423.15, and 27 vouchers for 1,596.35. That's it.
Excellent.
And vouchers, I actually wrote it here, never said it, is vouchers should go under the director's report.
Who brings the
When we
vouchers
find
back?
out.
When we're, yeah,
Maybe Jenna will go
When-
and talk to
so
you.
any vouchers that were signed between the
You wanna
last
take 'em or you
meeting
wanna
and
take
this meeting, under the
You look
director's.
a little,
I'm trying to think what day it is. Today
Today's
is
Monday.
Monday.
It's only
Monday the
Monday.
second.
Doesn't it seem like it's Friday?
I probably won't get there till Friday.
all right, I'll take them.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second
Second.
that.
All in
Second, third,
favor?
and fourth.
Aye.
Any opposed?
These are your papers, that's it.
8,
Gavin?
We don't want.
Eight
Yeah,
fifty-nine?
yeah.
Don't say
Yeah.
that.
Let's